Welcome to the Run.down, the first one of the year, first victory rundown of the year. I am Schwinny and the Knicks win 119 to 111 against the Cavs, a game that I don't know, felt like they had it won twice, and then they fucked around, and then they had to win it a third time. Whatever, they won it though. And I'm joined by Sam, that's at LBF underscore mass with just one S on Twitter nowadays.
For very
LBF.
Great reasons.
Yeah, LBF, how are you doing? How's your victory Wednesday night?
Pretty good. I would say, I expected the Knicks to win this game, I would say. I didn't expect them to
Well, at what time did you feel like it? Because was it at like 1:30, you might have been like, oh, they're gonna lose because Cat's out today. And then at 2:30, you might have been like, oh, we're gonna win because Cat's actually playing today. And then at 6, you might have been like, well, OG might not be playing now, so maybe we're gonna lose again. That was really fun. I'm sure our sponsor FanDuel had a blast.
Oh yeah,
had a blast
shifting those markets around. Had to shift those odds like 10 different times today for the next game alone. Especially with the news on the other side too. DeAndre Hunter was out for the Cavs. That was like a last minute thing as well. But that didn't really matter much. But yeah, I mean, I felt pretty confident going to this game. I didn't know what to really expect in terms of like what we were going to see just based off of preseason. Preseason looked very clunky and looked like they were figuring things out, and still looks like they're figuring things out. And we'll talk about all the things that we saw today that we liked, because I think us and several, not even several, all of Knicks fans are very excited for what they saw in this first game of the season. So yeah.
There was a lot of good stuff. I'll just start with what I thought was great. I tweeted it. The Knicks scored 119 points. Jalen Brunson went 5 of 18 from the field, 1 of 9 from 3. That's pretty encouraging to me. The Knicks had 5 players in double figures. Shamet had 9. Kolek also had 7. They played 11 guys tonight, and that's without Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson suiting up. I would be lying if I said that every single one of those combinations I was a fan of or even thought was reasonable to try, because I flat out will like just never believe in a Kolek Clarkson backcourt. I don't really understand what it provides. I don't love the 3-guard lineups. We've talked about that going back to preseason. But you can't be critical of, or have been critical of, Tibbs for his unwillingness to experiment and then be upset that in game 1 of the regular season, after the Knicks had a kind of disjointed preseason, right? Like they had a lot of guys miss time because of rest or injuries or whatever. So you probably didn't get to work on a lot of, or you probably didn't get to take a look at a lot of the different combinations that maybe you would have liked to in preseason. So I'm just guessing here, but I think that Mike Brown is going to be using some of this early part of the regular season as kind of an extended preseason. And again, like I don't need to agree with everything he does. I don't need to agree with every lineup he puts out there, but it is important that he does put up these different lineups out there, because that's how you learn about your roster. That's how you unlock things. Like, on its face, I don't think anybody in the world would be like, yeah, I think a OG or an OB and Pascal Siakam front court could give teams problems, right? And yet, that's exactly what happened multiple times in the playoffs last year, which they kind of had experience with because they tried in the regular season. Now, maybe you discover as the season goes along that, like, yeah, actually, Kolek and Clarkson doesn't work, or this thing doesn't work. That's what you do this stuff for. So to try as many combinations as he did tonight, being shorthanded, even coming in, I think that's really encouraging. And it's exactly the breath of fresh air and the difference that you needed. And ultimately, probably, it's a major part of the reason I think that they moved on from Tibbs. And, there are guys that are going to play less on certain nights. There are guys that are going to play more. Like, I would be pretty shocked if Gershon Yabusele is going to play 12 minutes every game, or if they're probably going to be, there's going to be games where Trey Jemison obviously never steps on the floor, right? Probably, hopefully, the majority of games, Trey Jemison never steps on the floor. And, you can go on and so on and so forth. But, um, this is how you figure out everything that your roster is capable of. And as far as, working on your process to ultimately figure that stuff out, I thought this was a really, really encouraging step in the right direction. And then you talk about like schematic stuff. I thought outside of the third quarter, the Knicks defense was excellent. Like I thought it was really, really good. I thought they did a good job matching up in transition. I liked their off-ball defense in a way that I feel like I thought it was different. I'll pull up a quote after I kind of finish this from an article that Fred Katz wrote this morning talking about defense. But I thought you could see that they were definitely playing passing lanes a bit more.
Super aggressive in the passing lanes.
Yeah, I thought their help was sharper in terms of understanding, what their rotations were. And, if you're going to rotate one pass away, then, you need to have the helper needs to help. Like, you need to have those guys on a string off ball. So I thought that stuff was all really, really encouraging. And then offensively, like, it's going to be a work in progress. I think it's still a work in, like, you could see it tonight. There were stretches where it looked amazing, and then there were stretches where you're like, what the hell are they doing? The third quarter was not a good quarter for them. I think they lost their way a bit after Cleveland ramped up their kind of ball pressure and energy. But they recovered, and I thought they did a really good job. I got to say, I thought Tyler Kolek did a really good job at the start of the fourth quarter in terms of just getting them into their offense more and getting them into their offense early.
Shockingly.
And not having it devolve into like a bunch of stagnant, ISOs and just kind of, okay, give it to Cat and hope he can pray and hope he makes something happen. I thought it was really good. And, and then obviously at the end of the game, when you kind of, things slow down and you kind of need to milk clock and you need to go to your guys, you still have that. Like you still have that in your bag. So like definitely a work in progress. I think you're going to see a lot of stretches where they look amazing to start the year. And I think you're going to see stretches where they look like they're figuring it out because they literally are figuring it out. And yeah, I mean, even to start the game, honestly, I think with the starters, you see it more than you see it with like some of these mixed lineups where like it gets really bogged down. I thought the start of the game, they were a little bit stagnant offensively. Cat picks up an early second foul. They kind of have to go into the bench a little bit early. And I thought they really picked it up from there where it's I think you could see the intention of a lot of these dribble handoffs. I thought they were more effective. They were getting into sets earlier. But yeah, I just overall, like, you're not going to win you don't win the championship in game one. You don't lose the championship in game one either. You're going to see this Cavs team down the road again. And let's be real, like this is not a particularly accurate representation of either team right now.
Yeah, because both teams are both dealing with significant injuries on both sides.
Right. So it's like, obviously I'm not going to take this win and be like, well, that settles it. The Knicks are winning the Eastern Conference and like finals, here we come. But for an opening night, I mean, yeah, this was a lot of really, really good things that you want to see. And yeah, I will say like one thing that I was very encouraged by is the rebounding was really good tonight by the Knicks, really good. And Cleveland
OG
actually
was killing it on the glass.
And if you go back and watch some of those games against Cleveland from last year, like they killed the Knicks on the glass at various points. And they killed the Knicks inside the arc. Wasn't there a game where they literally didn't miss like a shot in the third quarter from inside the arc and they missed like two or something the entire half? I forget. It was something crazy like that. But that was different tonight. I thought they did a really good job of, I'm not going to say they walled off the paint completely, but they made it hard inside the arc and they did a good job on the glass. The Knicks out rebounded them 48-32. The Knicks had 9 offensive rebounds to Cleveland.
Just like the old days against Cleveland.
Yeah, and Cleveland only had 4 offensive rebounds in this game. They got 4 offensive rebounds on 46 missed shots. That's going to get it done most nights against most teams. So, I was very, very encouraged by that.
There was a lot to be encouraged for. And what I'm interested to see going forward with Mike Brown and how he operates with this team. Granted, it was very shocking to see him play what was it, 9 players in like the first quarter, 11 within like the first quarter and a half of the game. And that kind of like stuck for the most of the game too. I'm going to be interested to see how that fluctuates throughout the year, which players get more time in certain games, which players don't get as much time, which players get completely cut off of the rotation. You know, obviously you're going to have Mitch in certain games. It's going to be interesting to see how they play that center rotation out because, you know, Mitch is going to be load managed this year. So you're probably going to see a lot of Huck Porty, a lot more of Jameson in some games. And yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing. Maybe less Clarkson in some games, especially if he doesn't have it particularly going.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, it's honestly kind of notable to me. I'm pretty sure in both halves, Clarkson was the last guy off the bench.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean like that it's going to stay that way again. Like I think things will change as the season goes on, but it's notable. Like it is notable that a guy that who was, you know, he was the first guy that they kind of agreed to terms with in free agency that
and he was kind of the name that everyone was talking about this offseason in terms of, oh, Knicks added some bench depth with Jordan Clarkson and whoever else.
Yeah, and I think the key thing is you know, we've seen a lot of quotes from the whistleblower, Mr. Mikal Bridges himself, where he's talked about like, you know, there needs to be accountability for the veterans, just like there is for the young guys. And I think that's a not so subtle shot at everything we talked about last year. Like how often did we talk about last year that it felt like there was no accountability for.
We've talked about this since Randall was here. We thought there was no accountability with Randall. So like,
yeah, and last year just ramped up. Yeah, and last year just ramped up to like this crazy level. And I think what I'm kind of alluding to is if you're trying to set an example, or if you're trying to send the message that, hey, like I'm going to give everybody chances, but the chances you get are determined by what I see with the work that you put in. Be it in practice, be it in preseason, whatever, you know, the work you're putting in the gym after, you know, everybody goes home, all that type of shit. Kolek had a better preseason than Jordan Clarkson. Like, and, you know, whatever. Preseason doesn't necessarily need, we know preseason doesn't mean anything half the time, but that's your opportunity to kind of shine, right? And Kolek took his chance. And again, maybe it's not a nightly thing, but if you're a guy like Kyle Kolek, or if you're any of these guys on the bench, these depth guys, you look at that and you're like, okay, I'm not buried under this coach. I am not coming in with zero expectation to get minutes. And, you know, that's a clear positive to me and a clear difference from everything we saw from Top Thibodeau last year, I thought.
No, for sure. What do you call it? Let's talk about my video still delayed. That's gonna distract me. Let me turn that off. That was so delayed. Holy crap. Oh my god. Yes, we have the super chat here from Andre Dreyer. It says, damn how I missed these nights Knicks games, then the Strickland aftertaste party. Aftertaste. That's an interesting word there. Shout out to Sean and Sam to another season.
Yeah. No, great to be back. Great to do these shows. Great to do it after a win. Much better than doing it after a goddamn loss. But yeah, I mean, man, basketball's back. It's great. It was fun watching the games last night. And
shout out to NBC on their production of everything. That actually made me like excited to watch a non-Knicks game for the first time in a long time.
It's amazing that that was the first time NBC has done an NBC or an NBA game in, I don't know, fucking 23 years or whatever the hell it's been. And I watched that broadcast and I was like, yep, this is 100% better than whatever the fuck ESPN and TNT have been putting on my screen for the last, you know, whatever, 15, 20 years at this point. So I agree. I thought the NBC broadcast was awesome. It was really good. It felt like they gave the season openers like a sense of occasion and made them feel like huge events, you know, like that's what the NFL does for these season opening games they have.
Yeah.
Like, you get the Thursday game and they go to the Brazil one on Friday or whatever. And then, but it felt like that. It felt like, oh, wow, holy shit, this is huge. So kudos to them. Let's get to some more comments here. Here we go. This is from Chris Bernard. Someone get OG a dribbling coach. He looks like he has scoliosis when he's going up the floor.
As someone who does have scoliosis, that is pretty accurate. So, yeah. That's why I don't dribble much.
OG had a very interesting game. He collapsed, and I was like,
he looked like Bambi on the ice when he dropped.
My immediate concern was, I was like, did he just
die?
ACL? Like, is the season over for OG already? But luckily he was okay. I mean, I don't know if he was okay. His shot, the 2 threes he took right after that were horrible. But then he hit like the biggest three of the game. Obviously, that kind of put the game on ice in the last, whatever it was, 90 seconds. He also had 14 rebounds tonight. OG finishes the game with 24 and 14. He's actually the Knicks' leading scorer, which, like, it didn't feel like that at all.
No,
that's
like it felt a lot like basketball socialism. Today on the basketball court, which for gamblers is not really the best thing, especially if you're betting on like guys who are supposed to be going over their points to go over their points, but they're actually spreading the wealth.
Well, you could bet unders too, Sam.
True, but that's not fun.
It isn't fun. It's actually it's the most annoying.
It's only fun if you like actively dislike the players that you're betting the unders on. So you're just rooting for their downfall, and it's happening, and you're making money off of it. But
imagine how happy were you if you were like a Durant under guy yesterday? Because I can't believe he only had 23 in double overtime. That was shout out to Kevin Durant for
showcasing his awesome defense on the last possession of the game.
I saw some account be like, this is like, what are we supposed to do if they're going to call this a foul? And I was like, that's a foul? Like, it's a very obvious foul actually too. But yeah, so forgetting our Kevin Durant slander, OG had a weird game where like
defensively he was great though.
Yeah, he was. Him and Mikal were really good on defense. Deuce was also on defense. But like, yeah, I thought some of the turnovers he had were, the one that he slips on, it's like, what are you gonna do? He had another one where he just like waited for Bridges to not be looking at the ball, and then he was like, yeah, and then he and yeah, then he threw it to him. He had the one where he had the corner three, but then he like pump fakes and then drives, and like it was a good drive. I don't know why Cat decided to push Allen or hook his arm or whatever, because that's Cat just likes hooking people's arms for whatever reason. That's like his thing. But I also was kind of like, they might have just called the offensive 3 seconds because clearly everyone's expecting you to take that shot. But yeah, it was an interesting game for him. I think you can definitely see that he's going to be on the ball more. Him and Mikal Bridges are going to be on the ball way more than they were last year. That's a good thing. Overall, I think it's a good thing for them specifically. We know for a fact, whether it was, open or kind of hidden or whatever, those two guys very specifically last year had the biggest case of becoming disengaged, right? They were disengaged at various points in the season because they were not involved offensively, right? They were corner boys. We talked about it constantly. They were just not involved. And I think whether, obviously on average, a Brunson possession is going to be better for you than an OG possession or a Mikal possession or whatever. But having these guys bring the ball up the floor, keeping them engaged, it will yield dividends because I guarantee you're going to get a better defensive effort from Bridges this year. I'll be shocked if you don't.
You already see it in game 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone's been joking on the timeline, of course, that, he was doing all of this last year to get Thibs fired because you just didn't like him from the jump. So, but yeah, I mean, no, he's been the most vocal about Mike Brown. Him and Deuce, they've been the most vocal about the changes from the Thibs regime to now Mike Brown's regime. So it makes sense that those two came out and looked the best that they've looked since last year, pretty much. Since I
mean, it was good to see. So that's and again, like, so if these guys have turnovers because they're on the ball more and because you're playing fast and you're not just playing fast, but you're seeing it like in the half court. there's so much more movement. There's so much more movement with the ball moving and player movement and guys screening.
Especially
Like
between those two, too. I felt like there was a lot of situations where Mikal and OG were finding each other, whether it was off of offensive rebounds, off driving kicks. They were finding each other in the corners, and that was really refreshing to see because it was like there were some possessions where it was like Jalen Brunson didn't even touch the ball, and it was like that's a good thing sometimes because like he doesn't need to always touch it. I mean, I feel like last year the team became so reliant on him. It felt like they just didn't know how to play basketball basically without Jalen Brunson on the basketball court. So it was so refreshing to see the way that this team was able to operate. Like you have Tyler Kolek out there doing shit, and it's like, all right, this is what an actual basketball team's supposed to like look like and feel like. And I found some joy watching this team on opening night.
I mean, I don't even think that's like the wrong word to use, joy, because look, the Knicks go 51-31 last year. They get to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. And yeah, it sucks that they lost to the Pacers again, but you would look at that season on its face and be like, okay, sucks you losing the Eastern Conference Finals, but like that must have been a fun season, right? And like there must like, and it's like there were individual moments and games.
There were moments that were
fun,
that were spread across the season,
right? But like there was an absence of joy in the fan base. There was an absence of joy with the team. Like you could watch it.
It felt very miserable.
Yeah, it was miserable. It didn't. It was miserable for a long.
It looked like watching a bunch of coworkers that didn't like each other, like being forced in a room to hang out with each other after hours or something.
Yeah, it's like, damn, like you guys don't even like getting happy hour together. But yeah, it was just not a fun season. Like it really wasn't a fun season. And I mean, I think we even talked about it when the season ended, where it was just like, obviously, I would wish the Knicks would have won the finals and like went to the finals and won it or whatever. But there was also a part of me that was like, damn, I'm like so happy to not have to talk about this fucking team for. I mean, I guess I don't have to talk about this team, but I'm so happy that I don't choose to talk about this team again for like seriously or for a few days or a few weeks or whatever. And I don't know. We'll see how this season pans out and how things pan out. But they needed a breath of fresh air. They needed new life. They needed something to like give them a new look and inject some life into this team. And we don't know that Mike Brown is going to be that and be successful in doing that after one game. But the early results right now, the early returns on just that piece of it, like where these guys look like they're more engaged. And it's not just one guy; it's like the team, right? They just feel more engaged. They feel like they're having a little bit more fun. I do think sometimes that's also, I mean, that can also be, kind of the new toy syndrome, right? Where it's like new coach, he says all the right things, and it's like, oh, we're all so excited. Again, you're not going to know until you go through it, right? You go through, all these months, go through the playoffs, whatever. We'll see. But if what you were hoping for is, just more life from guys like Bridges and OG, I mean, you've got to be really, really encouraged by what you've seen so far, even in preseason. And also like with Deuce, right? Like with Deuce, it was kind of like, can we just fucking play this guy more minutes? And it's, that didn't happen obviously at various points last season. And so it was good to see. And I think it's very notable that while he seems to be pretty consistent on, he wants to start games and start halves double big. This is now, I think, like the third or fourth straight game in a row, if you kind of count preseason, where when he actually has his starters available, he is closing those halves with, the four kind of locked in starters, right? In terms of Brunson, OG, Mikal, Cat, and then he has Deuce as the fifth guy. And that's just something we never saw last year.
Yeah, at all.
It's like never. That just didn't happen. So, and if it did happen, it was because like it was one of the 3 games in the season when he decided Mikal Bridges should sit on the bench for crunch time. So to kind of see these things that we were asking for already occurring in terms of trying more shit, and then the specific shit that we wanted to be tried to to be tried is encouraging. I mean, we talked like last year, we were like, dude, can we stop playing Precious and just see what Huckboardy can do with Cat on the floor? And we just fucking see that? Like, there's no way it can be worse than whatever the fuck Precious is doing out there. And, you know, Huckboardy had his rough moments. I think his second half was nowhere near as good as his first half, but that's part of his growth process as a player and part of these guys figuring it out as like a group, right? As a lineup. So to see him already kind of get that opportunity in the first game of the season is highly encouraging. It really is, because you know, if Tom Thibodeau was coaching this team, I promise you what would have happened is you go into this game and he starts Yabu or he starts Clarkson because those are the vets that were signed and he doesn't want to mess up the bench or whatever. Like, you kind of knew what he would do. And I think with Brown, we're learning that, like, okay, maybe the starting lineup might be the same concept, right? Or like whatever, playing double big and all this stuff. But then how he flows with his rotations and lineups from there on. And look, I don't think that he's going to be as, you know, constantly shifting. And you could see that with the Cavs too, right? Him and Kenny Atkinson were just kind of like fucking
tossing players in there.
Yeah, let's fucking get Jalen Tyson, your primary defender on Jalen Brunson, buddy. Have a blast.
Tyrese Proctor, have a blast.
Yeah,
straight out of Duke.
So like neither of these teams is going to be doing as much of this stuff as we saw tonight, but I think, you know, we never saw Tibbs try stuff to this degree. So that is a massive departure. And look, it's just, I don't want to get too much onto like I want to try and stop comparing everything to Tibbs, but like, look, the guy
that's all we've known.
Yeah, he was the coach of the Knicks. He's our coach for 5 years. Like, it's hard not to draw comparisons. Like, the funniest thing was, you know, I tweeted when Deuce had that steal and then kick ahead to Clarkson. I was like, I tweeted, I was like, yeah, I was like, Deuce is playing pretty good. Time to get the starters back in. And he actually did take Deuce and Cat out like a minute later. And in my head, I was like, don't do that. But he was just trying to get them a blow, and then he brought them back in with 5 minutes left, and it was just like those small things, those little differences, I think, are emblematic of like what we saw. And you know, I think neither of us, I don't remember, but I'm pretty confident. My issue, I always thought the minutes, like the actual minutes load of players, wasn't really my issue as much as like you're not mixing and matching. You play them like 18 minutes in a row sometimes, all this weird shit.
No staggering. There was no staggering. That was a lot of our complaints. There was no staggering. There was no variation of lineups. There was no experimentation. There was no just trying shit to see what would happen if you just tried it. And that's what we saw from Mike Brown today. Like you said, there was a lot of lineups that we didn't like. Like there was like the Clarkson Deuce, what was it? Kolek lineup?
The lineup that like completely farted away the lead in the second quarter was Kolek, Clarkson. I think it might have been Deuce for a second. It might have been Shamet also for a little bit. And then Yabu and Cat. And at like no point when that lineup was in was I like, this is awesome. I love this. I need to see more of this. I was like, they actually kind of like held the lead at like 12 for a little bit, and I was just like, all right, like it's getting to be that time. Like let's fucking go. But like, yeah, like you said, that's part of it.
And I thought in those moments too, I felt like the Knicks kind of did a really good job of just responding to the runs that the Cavs were making, because we all know the Cavs have their Cavalanches, that they like to call them, where they go on these runs, and it can feel very like debilitating, where you see like, you know, Donovan Mitchell going crazy, and then all of a sudden freaking Sam Merrill and Dean Wade are popping threes left and right. But I felt like the Knicks did a really good job of responding to those runs with their runs of their own. And the way that they responded to those runs, they weren't all like Jalen Brunson save me possessions. Like you saw a bunch. Deuce hit
the two biggest shots.
Was saving them. You had Mikal driving and kicking to guys in the corner. You had OG driving and kicking to guys. Like it was just a variation of things, and that was really refreshing to see, because I feel like in the past we have just gotten so accustomed to, all right, we're down now, Jalen Brunson, please save us. Like do the impossible over and over again and exhaust yourself, and it just wasn't required in this game. While Donovan Mitchell was actually having to be the one to be like, I have to save you guys right now. I have to launch all these
Well,
threes.
well, he had to because they didn't have Madison Square Garland, dude.
Mr. 420 himself.
Let's get to some more comments here. Kevin Pierre McCallow's playmaking. Yeah, he was, man. He had a couple of really nice dimes. I thought he had that one off the inbound play. I think it might have been. I don't know if it was in the third quarter or fourth quarter. I think it was in the third quarter where he dumped it off to Huck Porty for the dunk. I thought that was a really nice play. But yeah, like obviously, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, these guys are not like they're not like 5 or 6 assist type guys. But if you put the ball in their hands enough over the course of 82 games, you're going to get, a 6 assist game from Mikal Bridges, right? Like he led the team today in assists with 6. Brunson had 5, and then you had 2 apiece for Anunoby, Towns, Huck Porty, Kolek had 2, and then McBride, Shaman, and Clarkson all had 1. But like the ball was popping around and all those guys were involved. And yeah, Mikal Bridges definitely was playmaking tonight. AB says Deuce doing everything he should have had the opportunity to do last year. Unless you were Tom Thibodeau and his nephew, Tyrese.
Tyrese Thibodeau.
Tyrese was just watching this game he's just furious. Why is Deuce still out there? Get this guy off the floor.
He's trying to pretend so hard that he has been like Deuce FC this whole time. And it's like, dude, we saw how you were talking about him all this time.
You think Tyrese is going to get like braided the same way as Deuce too? He's always been my guy. He's always been my guy.
Oh my god!
I like the no headband look for Deuce.
Yeah, he's getting confident in that hairline. Gotta show it off.
He's got the dad energy now.
Yeah,
good for him. Jared R. Deuce is fantastic. I think he's taking a real leap. Can OG not go one game without randomly?
No, he cannot. He literally cannot. It is built into his software.
It's how he gets like that's how he warms up for this. Like gets into the season. He's like, all right, I gotta just collapse here right now, and then I'll be good to go. The Deuce thing. One thing I will say, and this is just always, I think, going to be the nature of his game. He's obviously not some dynamic off the bounce creator. He's really streaky because he's a high volume. He's a 3-point shooter, right? Like so. You're going to have games like tonight where he goes 4 or 6 or 3 and you're like, that was awesome. And then there's going to be another night, maybe the next game where he's like 1 of 6 and you're like, fuck this guy. He hasn't developed at all. But like, that's just what he is offensively. I have no problem with that because I don't expect Deuce McBride to like, I'm not expecting him to become a star or like become that type of player. I think he is what he is. And it's about understanding that, valuing it, and putting him in those positions. And when you put him in that lineup, right, with Brunson, with Cat, with Mikal, with OG, he's that 5th guy. And unlike Josh Hart, and look, Josh Hart, I know that he's like fucking Satan now to half of Knicks fans for whatever reason, but like he's going to be useful, and they're going to need him throughout the course of the year whenever he gets healthy, because there are going to be games where you need that extra bounce, that guy that can crash the glass, generate extra possessions, get you on transition, get you some easy looks that way. But like the difference between Deuce as that 5th guy and Josh Hart as that 5th guy is if Deuce doesn't touch the ball, if he's just standing out on the floor, he's a threat because teams are not just going to be comfortable letting him spot up and get clean looks. Like they have to honor that in a way that you don't have to honor Josh Hart, which we saw last year, right? And then the work around that was like, oh, well, I guess then we're going to have Josh Hart be the roll man, and then Cat can spot up, and Mikal and OG can be corner boys. And it's like, you don't want that. Not all the time anyway. It's fine to have that as like something.
A wrinkle.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good to have that as a wrinkle, but it's not good if that's like what you do because you have determined Josh Hart needs to play LeBron minutes. Like, it's just not good. So it's good to see that. And I agree. I just think that, like, whether he's taking a real leap or not, the leap to me is just like, just play him consistently and he's going to be good for you. And I think it was Jeff that tweeted this, or might have been off the Hot Hand Theory account, but it was just like, Quickly and Brunson together, I think they were like a plus 9.3 over their the course of their time playing together in New York, like plus 9.3 per 100 possessions. And we always talked about like they were like a really, really dynamic pairing, and the Knicks probably should have played them more. And while that's true, like the difference is Quickly's best role on defense, and again, this is from either Jeff's personal account or off the Hot Hand Theory account, so all credit to them. The difference is, though, like Quickly's best role defensively is as a helper. And so you didn't have a great point of attack defender in those lineups. And with Deuce is not the creator that Quickly can be as a secondary guy to Brunson, but he's an extremely good point of attack defender. And now that slots you in so you can have McCall and OG roam a little bit more and help you protect Cat, help you protect Brunson a bit in a way that you wouldn't, that is unique to him on this roster, because Josh Hart is not a point of attack defender. Mitchell Robinson is not. Mitchell Robinson has its own value defensively, of course, but he's not a point of attack defender. So it just gives you a different look. And then obviously the offensive boost you get is significant. So, yeah, I think it's encouraging that it seems like Mike Brown already recognizes that. Ace Bouchard says Schwinn hates woke basketball. He doesn't understand Brown inclusive ball. I understand it. I just, some of these lineups, I have a feeling in a month we'll never see that. We'll never see them again. And I'm okay with that.
I think starting next game, we probably won't see some of these lineups. Hopefully a lot of Clarkson ones.
Maybe all of the Clarkson ones. Chris Bernard says, damn, Schwinn got back to his grip pass after impersonating Brunson on the court tonight. Joke's on you. Me and Sam did not play in the Strickland basketball, for the Strickland basketball team. So you can't put that on us. Shout out Alex, though. John Leary, did you think it was weird we got a story today about how Tips feels betrayed? I'll let you answer that. I'll answer after you, though. I want to hear your thoughts on it first.
Oh, man. Thibs feeling betrayed. I felt betrayed when I had to witness what he did to my basketball team over the last couple of years.
I did not. I mean, it was weird in the sense you're like, of course this comes out on opening day. Like, of course that. Like, I get why the Athletic would hold on to that and time it to be on opening day. So, like, it is what it is. It's not that surprising, I guess. Do I give a shit about any of it? Like,
no.
Like, I don't actually. I don't care that Tibbs feels betrayed. As far as like, I don't even get being mad at him about it, because I'm like, yeah, dude, if I get fired, like, I'd be pretty annoyed about that too. Like, that's like a normal human reaction, right? Like, you're not like, oh, I got fired. Yeah, I probably deserved it. Good call, dude. Like, I understand. I get where you're coming from. Of course you're going to be pissed. Of course you're going to feel some type of way about it. But what I will say that I thought was interesting about that article is that within the framing of it was that, oh, actually, even Jalen Brunson after the season didn't feel like he needed or should kind of act as a defender of Tibbs internally. I thought that was interesting. You call that betrayal if you want. I call that a leader who was in that locker room last year. And obviously we got that fucking story, right? 5 seconds after they lose to Indiana about all these player meetings they had all year, how they were not connected and, all, blah, 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 all this shit. And, we talked about it last year where it's like, you had the Mikal Bridges comment right before the Portland game. And you had all these weird, you had Hart talking about like guys got to sacrifice and all that type of shit. And you had the Deuce comment literally after the post game after they lose, where he was like, a lot of things happened this year that like, it shouldn't happen or whatever the exact quote was. And it's like, if you're the leader of a basketball team during the season, I'm pretty firmly against firing coaches mid-season if your team is like at a certain baseline of competency.
Confidence.
Yeah. And Tibbs, for whatever anybody thinks about him, like he's not an incompetent coach. He's like he has just flaws that are fucking annoying as shit, especially after 5 years. But he's not an incompetent coach, and so it's like, look, I'm not. We talked about it then too. Is I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in firing the guy midseason because I just also like our options internally would have been who like fucking
Rick Brunson.
Yeah, Mo Cheeks, like, but we're good. Like, I'll
roll with top.
Yeah, but like, so during the season, I think again we'll never know. It won't come out. Maybe I doubt it'll ever come out. I bet that Brunson did a lot to keep that group like
together.
Not just even together, but it's like look,
but just like focused a little bit.
Yeah, like hey, Mikal, like I understand that like.
You don't like Tibbs, but like just
you want to murder Tibbs, but like we just kind of need you right now.
To wait till the end of the season, man.
Yeah, just we'll talk about this after the season's over. But like you deal with that, you see that up close and personal the entire year as the leader of your basketball team, and if you're a good leader at a certain point, like you understand, like, do I think Jalen Brunson loves Tibbs and has the utmost respect for him? Yeah. Absolutely, I do. Like, there's no question that he does, right? They have a personal relationship that goes beyond basketball. So, of course, he does. But I also think that at a certain point, he's probably like, I love the guy, but, like, if this is what it is, this isn't enough. And we should expect more. And I can't, like, go, stump for the guy if I actually kind of understand why half the team was miserable the entire season, including key players, right? Like key starters were not happy in terms of like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. We don't need to go through it, but yeah, that's a problem. And so like, I thought that part of the article was interesting because to me, that actually speaks well on Brunson as a guy who like didn't rock the boat during the season, but then once the season was up, he was like, look, this shit ain't good enough. And like, if you guys want to fire Tibbs, like, go for it. I'm not gonna say one way or the other what you should do is kind of how I took that. And, if you're not saying keep the guy and you're the franchise player, it's kind of clear what you are saying. So yeah.
From Ian Begley, by the way, just now, Karl-Anthony Towns has a grade 2 quad strain and said it was important for him to play through it tonight. I didn't want to disappoint the fans, he said. Towns, 19 points, 11 rebounds, added that he appreciated the support from fans and his teammates. Did Cat just see all the tweets calling him soft or something and was like, you know what, I gotta lock in tonight.
He's just so funny, man.
All right, Cat, please sit out the next couple of weeks. I think we'll figure out the center rotation for the time being.
My thing is, like, I just don't think he's hurt. I'll never question, like, is he actually hurt or not? Because he is. Like, it's fine. But he's a little dramatic. Cat's a little dramatic. It's fine. It's like what he is. And I was actually shocked when it was like he's doubtful. Because in my head, I was like, oh, he's questionable, huh? Okay. Yeah, he's playing. But yeah, look, if the medical staff was okay with this choice, that's really all that matters to me.
True.
And I trust this medical staff based on their body of work from what we saw last season, where it felt like, look, we can quibble about should guys have been pushed the way they were, but these guys got through the season in one piece for the most part. I mean, really, look at what they did with Mitch, right? They kind of like perfectly managed him, and he was completely peaking in the playoffs. So, yeah, I just implicitly trust the front office, and if that makes me like, a
homer,
a homer, so be it.
A company man,
if that makes me a company man, that's a label I'm willing to accept. This is Jordan Bell posted. This is from Chris Persianen. Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart were the biggest reasons the Knicks beat the Cavs in 2023. New York had neither tonight, but got to the free throw line enough to come out on top. Knicks starters at 147.1 defensive rating in 8:52 of play.
Jesus.
But New York as a team went 29 of 32 on free throws. Cavs 11 of 17. Feels like that was probably it's a small sample, obviously, to begin with. But the beginning of that second quarter was pretty bad defensively. That was the worst stretch of the game for them defensive. That entire third quarter was bad, but especially the start of the quarter, then multiple possessions where they did not match up on Mitchell coming up in transition. And they had miscommunications all over the place. But again, like NBA games are long. They're 48 minutes for a reason. You have to win at the end of 48 minutes. And for 3/4 of the game, the Knicks were clearly a better basketball team. And again, like, what does that mean in game one, playing lineups that you're probably not going to see from either team moving forward at various points? I don't know, but they were the better basketball team tonight. I think that was very clear throughout the game. And we couldn't say that about a single game against the Cavs last year, shorthanded or not.
Yeah, no. I mean, this used to be the case, 2023, and then last year happened and whatnot. A lot of teams are getting dog walked. I mean, if you look at Brandon Williams here says the Hawks got dog walked by the Raptors. If you look at the Utah Jazz score right now, that is something that a lot of fans will be very stunned by right now.
That Utah Jazz scores, it's pretty ridiculous. They're up 91-56 right now.
Utah must have aspirations to in courtside or something.
Well played. Yeah, it was look, it was a fun game for the Knicks. They made it closer than you wanted it to be, but can we really expect them to like, you're gonna have to go through experiences like that, so it is what it is. Moving on. John Leary. Mike Brown says the Cavaliers did a nice job of scoring in the paint versus the New York Knicks last season, averaging 58 points in the paint per game against the Knicks. Highlight that they only scored 30 tonight. And nice. It was a focus for them. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this earlier in this postgame. They dominated the Knicks in the interior last year, even when the Knicks had Mitchell Robinson. They dominated them, and they dominated them on the glass. They dominated them points in the paint, points inside the arc, every kind of measure of that, they dominated them. So for the Knicks to come out without Mitchell Robinson and without Josh Hart and whatever, and I get, yeah, obviously they didn't have Garland or whatever and Hunter, but that was, if that was your point of emphasis, well, it looks like the team received the message.
Let's see what else we got.
This, I don't know whose quote this is, but it's OG was a monster. He was our defensive player of the game. I think he had 6 or 7 deflections, came up with 2 50-50 balls. Just a heck of a job, especially defensively and rebounding wise from OG. Yeah, the rebounding was
if he can rebound like that consistently, and he's shown that he can,
has moments.
Do this. Yeah. So you just gotta lock in, be more consistent.
Yeah, no, for sure. He was great tonight. There's no doubt about it. He was the best player on the team. And it's funny because the shit he does bad, they're just so loud that you're like, God damn it, dude, what's going on here? But he was really good. So shout out to him. Going ahead. Brandon Williams. Disney just sent his old, tired ass somewhere. Dude got a new contract last year and is still getting paid, talking about nobody had his back.
Man, I mean, that guy's bank account is healthy. I mean, if that's what betrayal looks like, I want to get betrayed.
Yeah, I would love to be betrayed for $11 million a year. Please stab me in the fucking heart. Forget the back. Stab me in the fucking heart.
Julius Caesar me, please.
It's just, I just thought the framing of that entire thing was so lame. It's like he was betrayed. Like, is it betrayal? Him? Is it betrayal if people are just like, we think a better coach could get more out of this team? I feel like that's just fine and almost very normal.
Yeah, that's it was very dramatic, as we like to say about Cat. It's probably why they didn't get along. They were both very dramatic people.
I didn't watch on ESPN, but I will read this. RJ and Legs in their bags in the broadcast flashes of Mark Jackson and JVG. That's from Yajvin Dabiru. I'll take your word for it. I
like Legs.
I like Legs. Legs is good.
Dick Jefferson, not so much.
Jefferson is weird because like I actually think he's fine, but when he does Knicks games, I'm just like
I don't need to hear your thoughts on my team, sir.
I also just like I don't need a guy who's actively trolled the team to announce Knicks games. Like I just find that weird and stupid and annoying.
It's like me, like it's like me announcing like James Harden games or something, or Joel Embiid games, or Tyrese Halliburton games or something. Me doing like deep dives into their film and stuff like that. It's like I would never be able to take it serious. I don't know how Richard Jefferson is able to take those games seriously.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is Chris posted this quote. Jordan Bubb has posted it in our comments, so I'll read it out. It's a pretty long one. Mike Brown is coaching. It's my job to keep trying and to find combinations out on the floor that work. And just like the players got a lot of room to grow, I got a lot of room to grow. Always learning. The neat part about it is there are a lot of different ways I could go with it, and I could learn on the fly because we have guys that can play. I like to play a lot of guys. I don't know if I'll play 11 guys a night, but we like to play a lot of guys. I don't know if this is true or whatnot. I will say he seems to have gotten the message from the front office that of what they were looking for, because playing a lot of guys is definitely not Tibbs' forte. Not really in his bag.
It felt very Steve Kerr-esque from him tonight. Because Steve Kerr will have these random ass games where he'll play like 12 guys, and the Warriors fans will be like, "What the hell is Steve Kerr doing tonight?" Like they'll play like Pat Spencer and like Guy Santos and stuff like that, and like you'll be like, "What the hell?" But like, yeah, this felt very like Steve Kerr-esque from Mike Brown in terms of just trying to see what was gonna stick and work, and maybe that's something that he learned from Steve from being there.
Yeah, for sure. This was good. Another quote. Again, I'm not sure who's posting these on Twitter, so I'm just reading what people are posting in our comments. I thought both guys came in and tried to do what they're capable of doing. We don't need anybody to come in and play hero ball or anything like that. Play to your strengths. Brown on Kolek and Ariel. Huckporty. This is another one. We had 21 sprays. We want to get to at least 20 a game. We touch that paint. Good teams. They have to protect the paint. I think we could even generate more 25 to 27 a game. I like that he's putting a number on this stuff. I know it sounds almost silly, but it's like if you set an actual
goal
benchmark, if you set a benchmark, it gives your team they know what the standard is, right? It's like, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. This is what a good basketball game for us looks like. So I like that he's saying these numbers, and I agree. I mean, there were definitely moments. I think you could see with Brunson, there were moments where he was like, oh, it's like time for me to cook. And it's like, I mean, maybe, but like, you could also.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't need to necessarily. You could just kind of like keep doing what you're doing. Cat had a couple. Everybody, I mean, all these guys are going to have moments. So,
They're
but I
very Thibs pilled.
Yes. I mean, it's 5 years. You had the guy, I mean, 5 years of him as your head coach. As for us as fans, 3 years, Brunson has been, he had him as his coach.
1 year was apparently too much for Mikal.
Mikal was like, he came to training camp and he's like, yo, fuck this shit. He was out early. That's for sure.
I think Mikal was probably even more pissed because like they didn't even practice or anything, and like Mike Brown was like, Mikal was in the gym all summer, so like when Mikal got here and saw that these guys weren't even practicing, he was like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Yeah, this is from diehard Pistons fan James Edwards III. Mike Brown on the depth. I truly believe this team is a deep team. You give Leon Rose and his group a ton of credit. It's my job to find combinations on the floor that work.
James Edwards III was so excited when Donovan Mitchell got cooking, by the way.
Yeah, tough night, though. The Pistons came up short. They lost to the Bulls tonight, so
Jesus.
It's all right. They can get it done. They'll be fine.
Yeah, all he needed was Ivy and beef stew, in the playoffs, and they would have been golden. Speaking of Pistons, by the way, Malik Beasley still not picked up by a team. Interesting.
I think he's still being, because they said he's not
in the clear.
He didn't really get cleared.
No,
is the thing. So he might not be picked up ever. Just throw that out.
Enjoy house arrest, my guy.
If he pays rent, right? And that's his thing. He doesn't pay rent. So, Hayase Eel. Once Bridges plays a little more selfishly on offense, that fourth quarter defensive possession against Mobley was just incredible. Yep. He was good, man. Bridges was good. OG was good. Like, we did the Wingstop thing, and last year we were like, "What happened to Wingstop?" I thought that was going to be.
It's here officially this year.
Yeah, it looks like it's here. It looked like it tonight, anyway. Hayase Eel also says, "This is a cruise control game. At no point was I worried they would lose. The difference in coaching philosophy is light years in difference."
Yeah, I mean, you just saw it in the way the team responded to the runs. They didn't seem rattled in any way, shape, or form. And they didn't seem like they were like panicking to find Jalen Brunson to save them. It was like, all right, let's just keep going into the flow of our offense. Let's drive. Let's spray. Let's, get these threes up. They got 40-something threes up today or something?
41, if I'm not mistaken.
That's pretty damn good. Let's keep that up.
Yeah, they got exactly 40. Exactly 40
on the dot.
Yeah.
Yo, Lonzo was. What does Clyde have CTE? Because Clyde was praising Lonzo after he hit his first three. He was like, "Lonzo's been having a great game tonight, showing some confidence." And I was like,
"Lonzo, you gotta understand, Lonzo in his brain, Lonzo is like a great pure point guard, right? Because he's passes all the time."
Lonzo was putrid tonight,
dude. He had some of the most.
He had the
horrible shots.
Passes, but they were all out of bounds.
That pass he threw were from the top of the key to the corner. I forgot who it was. It was Sam Merrill or Nance or something. Merrill. And that shit was fucking ridiculous. He looked like he was. Yeah, it was. I mean, he looked like brutal. Luke. He looked like Luke Weaver, man.
Oh,
nowhere,
man.
No, not close. Not close.
No, he was absolutely brutal. He finally hit a three, and then Clyde was he was having a great game, and I was just like, what is going on here? Are we in fucking Twilight Zone? That's. I mean, I know the Cavs are expecting him to be, some type of contributor for them this year, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's one game, obviously. So whatever,
yeah, but I mean, he's someone that can you rely on him for 25 plus 30 minutes? That's the back to backs. He is very shaky.
Yeah, we gotta win a chip this year or next year because
you're watching what Wemby's doing.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
A fucking. It's not even real, man. He did a fucking
he's legitimately a dunk. Video game character.
Yeah, he makes Anthony Davis look so fucking tiny. It's ridiculous. What the fuck is this person? Sorry, just had to get that out of there. This is also from our good pal Chris. Mike Brown and Ariel Bordy, so athletic they have to pull first of all. If you've got Jalen coming off the pick and roll, the big's got to put a body in front of the ball. That's just good basketball. If you don't pull that weak side guy in, it's going to be a dunk. He's got this little runner floater thing, not quite sure, but it's gone in, so I'm going to keep letting him shoot it. Yeah, I mean, you could still he's got to look, he's second year player. He's still got a lot of stuff to work on, but the stuff he's clearly, honestly, he might be their best athlete. I think he is their best athlete. Just his.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Jesus.
His end-to-end speed for a big is really, really impressive. He's got good hops. He's strong as hell. Yeah, like I as soon as the Knicks drafted him, I watched this like I don't know, it's like this 2-hour fucking video of his highlights in the NBL, and I was like, all right, I see the vision. Like, this is not hard to understand what the appeal is of this player. Let's see how it works out. When he came into training camp last year, you could already see the growth in him athletically from what he looked like in summer league to that. And now, like, you see him in this training camp when he came in, you could clearly see he had dropped weight. He looks even better now physically than he did, last time we saw him on the floor last year. And I'm impressed. And like, look, if the Knicks, I think depth is a fair concern to have for the team, but a guy like him being a contributor is huge. It would be huge because Mitchell Robinson's going to miss time. Like he already is, obviously, but you knew even if Mitch started the year healthy, he was going to miss time. So getting another guy that can do, he's not Mitch, right? He's not the same thing, but give you that vertical rim running threat, is effective on the glass. He's a much better screen setter than Mitch, that's for sure. And he's capable of making plays with the ball in his hands. I mean, the only three that Brunson made, if you watch it, that came off of Huck Porty getting the ball in the short roll, reading the floor, kicking it to Towns, and then Towns was able to swing it to Brunson for the open corner three. That was a really impressive play. He also had that little kind of lob pass to Cat, where he's rolling down the paint or rolling down the lane, and he draws Mobley in just enough to get that pass over to Towns, and Towns gets a dunk out of it. Like, these are plays, again, like, Mitch is awesome. Mitch might have like a fucking seizure if he tried to do some of these things with the ball in his hands, because that's just not part of his skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a big that can, isn't the rebounder that Mitch is not the rim protector Mitch is not the defensive force, quite frankly, that Mitch is. But isn't a slouch in those areas, and then also has that little bit more that he can do with the ball in his hands. It's encouraging, and it's like a really nice tool for the Knicks to have kind of in their back pocket.
No, seriously. Oh my god, my fucking hand has random cuts all over it. What the fuck?
Wow, dude, is Cooper Flag a bust? A lot of people are saying.
Oh my god.
I don't blame him, man. He probably stepped foot on the floor and he's like, what is this fucking
demon?
Yeah, what is this thing over there standing on the side?
Bruh, AD has 4 fouls in the first half trying to guard Wemby. He's in hell.
Yeah, but in fairness, AD's probably like, he probably knows he's going to get hurt and like die in the first 10 minutes of the second half before he miraculously comes back. So he can afford to have too many fouls right now.
Let's see. Jordan Bub brings up Tyler Kolek's stats in 14 minutes. Tyler Kolek was probably the most surprising thing that happened on the court today, honestly.
He was good, man. He was
playing
good today.
and looking actually like an actual NBA player. That freaking dime that he had to OG for when he cut, that three he hit over Jared Allen, like those two plays really are the ones that like stick out to me the most. In his, debut in the rotation. Do we think that he's going to be, like like the one of the main backup guards?
He might.
If he continues playing this decently and this well, I mean, yeah. Why
he's
not?
the only other like actual point guard on the roster. Clark is not a point guard. Deuce is not a point guard. Malcolm Brogdon retired.
Funniest thing that ever happened this offseason. Out of nowhere, Malcolm Brogdon was like, I'm done.
Yeah, he's like,
Fuck
you know what?
Shit.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I got my $131 million I made in my career. We're good.
I don't need a ring. I'm good.
Yeah,
he was like, I'm gonna ring chase. Actually, not really.
I can buy a ring if I want one, so I'll just do that.
He's probably gonna get one as like a coach or something later on in his career. He's good. He'll be fine.
Zach Composto says Hawks made all those hyped up moves just to be mid again. It was one game, but I'm with the slander. I'm cool with the slander.
I'm cool with it too, and it's something that they've done before. Remember the DeJounte Murray trade? Does anyone remember that? I remember that. The North remembers that.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Yes. Cam Reddish, after that Eastern Conference Finals fluke run, they all thought, Cam Reddish is finally healthy.
He just had that one game. He had that one game where he had like 6 threes, and everybody was like, "Oh, dude,
that was
like next
literally the game of his life." That was literally the game of his life.
I just remember that because after that game, they lose or whatever. Everybody's like, "Oh man, like they made this Eastern Conference Finals run, and then they have this guy." Like I was like, "Yeah, they got that guy. He's fucking sucks." That's what
that guy is overseas right now.
That guy is fucking bad at the sport of basketball. Where's he playing? Like Belgrade?
I have no idea where he is. Somewhere irrelevant.
This is great. Clippers down 3-1 of the Jazz. Walker Kessler 2-2 from 3, just like we all expected.
Ooh, Danny Ainge said the price of the brick's going up.
Yeah. Danny Ainge is also going to bench him by tomorrow. Yeah, you can't play these by 6
January.
guys. Yeah, these 6 guys, you can't.
They all are injured. They're all injured, actually.
For the year. They all tore their ACL just now. I got off the phone. This is also from Chris. Thank you to Jordan Above for posting all these quotes, as well as John Larry. Jalen Brunson on adjusting to the new offense. The most important thing we can do is come with a clear mind, be open to getting better. Every year is different. It's all about how you adapt, how you adjust. Learning on the fly is going to be good for us. It's going to keep us fresh. This is actually completely unrelated to that quote. But did you see all these people that, like, as soon as this cat stuff with, like, the injury came out, and because he had, like, that weird answer to that question the other day, it was like, oh, dude, is he about to get traded for Giannis? What's wrong? Like, why is he must know he's about to get traded. I'm like, I think
you people are
often the simplest answer is the correct answer. And yeah, I think that Cat is going to be in New York at least through this season. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. No. Randall Williams, VJ Edgecombe with 34 points in his debut.
It's so funny how the Sixers just keep having all these like great young guards, and then like Joel Embiid and Paul George have just died, basically.
Yes.
Like they have Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes became a player with them, and like the 2 guys that would actually make it all worth a damn are dead.
Yeah, it's sad.
Joel Embiid like literally looked like dog shit today.
I don't even know what to make of that. I know he played one preseason game, and he looked good in that preseason game. But again, like this is the intensity of preseason
is so different. Season. Like he didn't even jump today.
And I think they also they played like the Timberwolves on the back end of a back-to-back in preseason. By the way, these back-to-backs that are happening in preseason, no, just
why? Why is that a thing? Adam Silver, what is wrong with you?
Enough.
Mentally. Spiritually.
Day 2-2. We're back, fellas. Mike Brown saw Mobley's scrawny ass and played OG at the 5. That was nice.
Loved that lineup, by the way.
Yep.
Let me see. What was that lineup again? It was I retweeted it because I absolutely.
It was OG, McCall, Shamet, Deuce, Brunson.
Love that. Do that lineup a bunch more against specific teams, specific matchups. Like, please, just do it. It's like lineups like that just bring me so much joy because it's Dibs would literally want to grab a freshly tightened waxed rope. If someone told him to play that lineup, if Rick Brunson was like, hey, maybe you should try it, and he'd be like, no, and then he'd grab a rope and find one of the tallest oak trees and imagine things.
Paul Wisnowski says, I thought Mikal Bridges was going to climax halfway through the first quarter because he touched the ball on consecutive possessions.
He was bringing the ball up.
Yeah, he had multiple possessions bringing the ball up.
I love that too, by the way. And I tweeted something about it, about how like I just feel like that is going to make the world. I mean, you saw it today, a world of a difference with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, granted, he didn't really make shots today, but I mean, when he gets into the flow of things throughout the regular season, I feel like if he is able to get the rest that he not only did on the bench today, because like he played what 30 minutes or something like that, and then also the rest on the court that he gets when he doesn't have the ball and he's not the one initiating all these possessions, it's like it's going to make a huge difference. And like clutch player of the year might get a repeat this year.
Yeah, it might. It might.
Because he's going to be able to score all his points in the fourth quarter. He doesn't have to do all that much in the beginning of the games. And like if the team is like managing the game well enough and like, all right, Jalen Brunson, take us home at the end, it's like, boom, right there.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that he doesn't. Like, I would love if he didn't win Clutch Player of the Year. That would be great. I'd rather that not have to be like.
Yeah, no, I'd rather like just beat
on.
the shit out of teams, but if worse comes to worse, you know.
Yeah.
Always have that in the back pocket.
Yes. Shout out Coach Fizdale, who always had a lot of things in the back pocket that he never used. Jalen Brunson on Deuce McBride. I think the best thing about him is when he wasn't playing that much, he was still in the gym every day. He was doing everything he had to do. Yeah, Deuce is great. Larry Israel says, "Yo, Clyde was low key
bad, I guess."
Yeah, to ESPN, they said Lonzo was best player on the floor. Legit said that. By the way, that was before he made a three. Yeah, that was wild. Chris Bernard says when Mitch did some DHOs in the playoffs, it was like watching 2001: A Space Odyssey when the Primates found the club. If you haven't seen that movie, and that is good. That's a good reference. W. 25 Strickland bucks for you. You can buy absolutely nothing with that.
Yes, honestly.
Day 2 and 2. Kolek looked like what Houston was hoping Reed Shepard would look like.
And if you didn't watch what Reed Shepard looked like last night, then credit to you, because a lot of people bought a lot of stock and a lot of hype in Reed Shepard, especially after that one preseason game against, what was it, the Hawks or the Raptors? I don't even remember who, but it was against some team, and Reed Shepard looked decent, and everyone was like, oh, you know, Fred's out now, and, you know, they have this spot, and, you know, Reed Shepard was the number 3 pick. It's like they're expecting, you know, Reed Shepard to look like a 3rd overall pick was supposed to be looking like, but he was getting picked on defense. And
I would say the most kind of I tweeted about this earlier today because I feel like, look, he looked terrible yesterday. There's no two ways about it. He did not have a good game.
He's in a rough spot too.
Yeah. He's a 3rd overall pick on a team that's like clearly well, they at least think they can contend. I don't think they can if they're just gonna be like, we don't need a point guard. I'll be like, don't know about that. But they're really good. And so like he needs minutes. Like he just needs to be able to play, but they're too good to just be like, all right, well, Reed Shepard gets 20 minutes a night no matter what. Like that's just not realistic.
Yeah, no.
And so it's a tough place for him because he has to earn those minutes. And I don't know how much of a leash Ime Udoka is going to have for him if he can't step it up. Now, in his defense, most teams in the NBA are not Oklahoma City. So that's probably like that. I mean, it's literally the worst matchup he could possibly have to start the season. Defending champs that just have like 7,000 perimeter defenders, not ideal. So I don't want to like write him off, but yeah, it was not good. And I just don't know. Like I struggle to see his pathway to being a high level player for the Rockets. Like I feel like he needs to get traded, go to a team that can afford to just let him play through stuff, figure stuff out on the floor. And on top of that, I mean, I think the thing that really stood out to me is, and obviously Reed Shepard is being asked to do more than Cason Wallace, but like Cason Wallace looks, he is not looks, he is more athletic. He is like, he just fit. Like you watch him on the floor in that game yesterday, and like you've got all these athletes right in this game because it's OKC and you have Houston who has a bunch of dudes, and he was good. Like he made sense. The guy played in the NBA Finals and he was fine. Like he was a legit rotation player for them in the finals. He's a legit rotation player for them in the playoffs the year before. Reed Shepard is not that yet, and if he is not that, I just don't know how he's going to get minutes. So, yeah, it's tough for him.
Yeah, he's in not the most ideal situation.
Yeah. This is the last comment we have here. This is from Larry Israel. Kolik defense was a huge difference. He fought to get over screens, but I was muttering when he missed the ready layup. Yeah, because he did everything great on that possession. He did everything perfect. He just smoked that layup. But I agree. I think, he's always going to be a liability defensively. All you can ask is that he competes. I thought he competed hard. And I don't know. I got to be honest. Like, I just thought he did a really, really good job of getting the team organized. And he did all of the stuff that you need him to be able to do. Like, I liked that he was actually looking for a shot multiple times. He was able to successfully drive with his right hand a couple times, like this one that you're referencing. He handled ball pressure well. He just looked way more comfortable today than he did basically at any point last year. And I think
even in freaking Summer League, he didn't look this comfortable. I feel like Summer League, he looked very disjointed, and that's where a lot of concerns from a lot of the fan base was coming from.
I mean, he looked terrible at Summer League. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, he was brutal.
He didn't stand out in a positive way, which is very concerning because he's an older player, obviously, right? He's drafted at 23 years old. He's 24 right now. So you're like, okay, it might just be one and done for this guy. But credit to him, he's kept his head down. Clearly has worked. And at least for one night, he looked like he belonged. So, yeah, I mean, look, if this is what he is, like a 15-minute a night backup guy, that's
a win. That's a win.
That's a win. It's a win. So, yeah, good on him. I like the three he made was like, I was like, damn, like you actually pulled the trigger on that? Like,
Range
nice.
Like, Jared Allen grill.
Yeah. By the way, what the hell was Jared Allen doing tonight?
Seeing the ghost of Mitchell Robinson and
Dude, that
Josh
was
Hart.
Nuts. He just he basically didn't do anything on the floor the entire game.
Yeah, no, I have him in one of my fantasy leagues on ESPN Fantasy, and I was just like, nice. I see why I was skeptical about picking you.
Jared Allen, 28 minutes tonight, 4 points, 4 rebounds.
I could have done that. I could have done that.
It was ridiculous watching him. He had a possession at the start of the second quarter, the first possession, the second quarter, and he just Towns gets the ball at the top of the key. He puts the ball on the deck, and then Allen just rotates out of the paint to go towards the shooter, and obviously Towns dunks it or whatever. Atkinson just immediately called that out. He looked like he wanted to fucking fight Jared Allen. That was it was wild. Look, he'll get his numbers because that's he's had a long enough track record where he's gonna get you 14 and 11 and a block and a half and shoot a good percentage. But I just will never believe in that guy against quality teams on the biggest stage because he just has consistently shit his pants in those situations.
Rightfully so.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here, Sam?
No, I think we covered it all pretty much.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody for the comments. Thank you for the super chats. Really, really appreciate it. All that helps us keep the site running. And thank you to our sponsor, FanDuel. The Knicks play on Friday. They played the Sixers. Am I right? Or is it the Celtics?
Celtics. Yep, Celtics. On Amazon Prime.
So let's finish off. Let's start let's pick up against the Celtics where we left off.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Bashing their heads in.
Yeah.
Didn't the Celtics lose to the Sixers today, by the way?
They did lose to the Sixers 117-116. Peyton Pritchard missed 2 shots in like the last 10 seconds.
Nice.
Out of my head. So it'll be an interesting season for both the Sixers and Celtics. I'll say that much.
They'll be fighting for lotto odds.
Yes, they will. All right. Thanks again to everybody for the comments. Thank you for the super chats. And we will see you on Friday, potentially. Peace.
Peace.